Gentlemen, let us retire to
You say this
on the birthday party tablecloth.
That's a typical dad picture of a cow. No head, but the udder is centered. Keep that udder, boy.
Well, there
That
could
one
be.
says something on the back. Most of them don't.
But if it has some good jerseys, it doesn't matter whether they're down there or here.
Wolseley's Lady. That wasn't the one I remember. So that was way before. That must have been already.
No, that's,
Yeah, that's what.
That's when
the
the-
hay pack.
yeah.
That's how the hay came in.
Oh, that isn't the one that had the cows? How did they get the cows up here?
They were slung over the edge. There's pictures of Tom down on the docks. I bet Tom and Lorna would have pictures of that. How long would you estimate that barn was? 150 feet?
Well, it's still being used.
It's still down there.
The barn is
They
further on.
moved it. Yeah, we could go find out. But
Because I was saying, when we quartered the complete herd in the barn during the winter. The calves were in the calf barn off to the side, on the other side, And this portion of the barn from the milk door this way was all storage. There was the first room had a compressor and some grain storage, the compressor, the vacuum pump to run the Marlowe milking machines. And then the next room up
These are all
had the
mixed
water
up.
house, a water pump and
my
a well
goodness, yes.
underneath. And on the other side, there was a central aisle, of course, and on the other side was a flat, just not really used. That's where they butchered the cows, but I don't remember what was in it. Right at this very end, there was a stairwell that went up to the loft, right from this portion of the door up, one handing over and up, and made it to the haymow. So the stanchions began
Should we back up and just make
from
sure?
here.
Oh,
The stanchions began from here and ran all the way down. And I was talking with Lorin, they were standard Marlowe stanchions. So a single stanchion was about this wide. I think they could only get 2 in 5 feet.
turn on.
And they went, on both sides of the barn with a central
Stop filming
gutter
for a
down
minute.
the middle.
Introductions?
well, I think it's real important that we have an accurate amount of cows. Notice here, they claim 65. Glacier Dairy consists of 250 acres of fertile river bottom land at the mouth of the Minnehaha River. All facilities are complete and modern. The barn has housing room for 65 milking cows, 11 heifers, 10 cows, and 2 bulls.
My recollection is about 40 cows fresh and milking. And some, but 60 is the figure that came to my mind as being an average total herd.
That sounds good. I remember about 11 cans of milk a day, 10-gallon cans. I'm not sure how many cows that takes.
And this cow said 35 gallons in the, which one?
Well, here it says
We had,
our 45 cow milking herd includes jerseys of the highest breeding, such as 3 daughters of the nation's greatest. So this is 45. This was sent to her by one of the Smiths.
It says in the back, I think.
Smith's had a smaller dairy.
Lee Smith sent me this. Okay.
Larger crop.
But this is written by Dad. This is something that they sent out as a Juneau Dairies. And
Well, it did vary. And after
Of
we
course,
got
yeah.
the jerseys, we had a lot more than what we started with.
well, I didn't know anything. I didn't know the names of the dairies. I didn't know how many there were. She said that there were 5 different dairies that she came across. So, Peterson's Mendenhall Dairy, we have Glacier Dairy, Sherwood Dairy.
Yeah.
That was not part of the co-op, though.
No, not part of the co-op, but
Co-op, how many were in the co-op?
I think 4 of them.
yeah. Peterson's, Smith's,
Smith's.
Danner. No, Danner was out.
Danner
by
was
then.
out.
Danner became the Mendenhall
was.
Dairy, it says right here,
There
owned
was
by
no-
Peterson.
No.
Established in
No, no, no.
19 by George Danner, this dairy
Okay,
was
that's
purchased
different. No,
by
that's not the
Peterson.
Danner we're talking about.
Oh.
This Danner was at the airport, where Food Center is, or Super Bear, whatever it is now.
Yeah.
Family
Well,
grocer.
It's called Family Grocer now,
Yeah,
just
okay,
changed
well,
its name.
yeah, there was a Danner,
There's a dairy there.
George, no, what was it? The guy who smoked cigars and had the
Kendall? Or
Kindler.
Kendler. Okay, so which was the one next to us?
Peterson and Sherwood. Now, were they across the road from each other? That's from what I'm gathering. Peterson was...
No, okay, when we first came here, the Smith Dairy had a working summer farm by where the elementary school is now. And then they had the winter farm, or maybe it was the other way around. Winter downtown and summer farm out on their properties, including going out to Herbert, way out. So they moved their cows, but they had across the road from Kendler. They were on from the old road where you turned into the airport. Right where you turned into the airport, the property was the Kendler property. I dismantled it, the barn, and took some of the equipment out of it. And I remember him very, very strongly because he had that 38 Oldsmobile touring coupe. With, it was just a beautiful old car, and it was my dream. But he always had a cigar in his mouth, very seldom lit, chewed on it. But anyway, so then halfway between the airport and town was Peterson's Dairy. And in our remembrance, there was a couple of people in there. So I don't know, that's where Lorin, the clinic is now, the animal clinic.
Well, how does that fit
That's
with
Peterson's.
Kogi filed Peterson file? She's living on the Peterson farm. This is what I understand.
Which
All
is
that
where-
property, it's next to family practice. It's just the very first
Yeah,
one go
yeah,
down in the
yeah.
valley. Is that what you
No,
mean?
That's the old Peterson homestead. There was a boathouse down there that we went through with an old truck, pickup truck in it, and yeah. But that's not. I don't know whether she's related to the Peterson of
Yeah, this Maynard Peterson was the Peterson.
Maynard Peterson.
He owned where the vet clinic is.
Yeah, where the
that
vet-
farm.
yeah.
Oh, okay, well, that's what this says too, and it says that it's located 8 miles from Juneau on Glacier Highway. Okay, I need to know this. That's the Peterson.
Right.
That's the
Farm.
Peterson Dairy when we talk about.
Okay, now I
Peterson
thought that
Dairy.
was the Smith. Now where was the
The
Smith?
Smith
That's
was
where
right.
Nugget Mall is.
No. Yeah, where Nugget Mall is, yeah. Where that grove of trees there, where the buildings are, that was to the right of the main dairy building. That was the road cut right through the dairy building, I think.
Okay, and is that the one you said was in 3 places? One that
Yeah.
was in town,
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
and out the road, Smith. Okay. Peterson, Glacier Dairy, which was started by Meyer. Doesn't say it here, but somewhere it says it was started back in early 20s or somewhere around there. And then Sherwood. Sherwood must be the one.
Sherwood is where Arnie's got his shop, and that's where the horses are. It's just you go down the bottom of the hill, and it levels out, and his tool shed is still standing. And his house used to be on the right of that. That's right where the road goes back,
The Glacier side of the road,
Glacier side of the road.
that's Sherwood.
That's,
Well, they own
and the
both
barn.
They own both sides?
Yeah, they own both sides. The barn was on,
It's still there.
Yeah, Arnie's barn, using, isn't he? Arnie Meyer?
He's not here anymore.
Well, he had,
It's Harry, it's a plumbing
Plumbing.
outfit, I don't know. who has it.
But that's right where
that's
Peterson.
Peterson. No,
That's Sherwood.
Sherwood.
Sherwood. but
Sherwood.
Is that's where Kogi File lives?
Yes.
And the troopers are on Sherwood
Yes.
Lane.
Okay, and they're
Well,
on Sherwood Lane. That's right.
The old Alaska, what do they call that?
Very slowly.
Radio, that became Alaska.
Oh,
Ours-
ACS?
ACS, the old ACS site with the antennas was between the Sherwood property and our property. And that was the only separation.
Peterson's, now that, their property was on the side of Sherwood's, I think. That little road,
No.
where that clinic is? Wasn't that their
Kobe
homestead?
files? Yeah, that's their
Yeah.
yeah. In fact, you head up the hill, and about halfway up the hill, there's a shun-off road to the left, and that went down to their homestead property. There's a log cabin, a boathouse, and 2 or 3 sheds down there that I climbed through. That was all vacant, full of stuff that abandoned, basically. As I remember it.
To this day, they own most of the flats there.
Yeah, and he had always said that he had leased tidelands out to Dad. Now, I didn't know anything about that, because we were real young then.
Mhm.
But I guess there was a big squabble over ownership, you know.
As to where mean tide was, because no one would believe that boats came that far up.
Address some of the family
yeah.
questions here.
The family, as far as what?
You want to just read it through, and if someone has a comment, they can stop.
Okay. As far as, we think we were the first professional dairymen to come to the area, and you have a
I have a
change
note
for
on
that.
yeah.
And late 1930s, Dwight had world record herd of Jersey cows in Oregon. Juneau, brought to Juneau some of his champions. Has a bulletin, cows sent all over the world, starting a herd in Juneau with some of these cows.
It's not very clear.
It's not very clear. It wasn't really
She
any of the
doesn't- she didn't
champions.
understand.
Of course, it was some of the relatives and some of the family of the champions.
Well, he and his brothers developed a bloodline of cows that tested, many of the bloodline tested above the 1,000-pound butterfat testing routine. And at that time, as I understand it, it was very rare for cows to break the 1,000-pound butterfat level, and to have a bloodline where many broke it was a new happening. And Dad always said that he did it somewhat unbiblical. He used a breeding technique that followed the biblical principle of marriage. It's something and not. I don't know. That's big.
The
That's
thing
big.
with Jacob and the
Yes.
sheep.
Yeah. Do you recall
No,
anything like that?
I didn't get into that.
Well, we showed her this roll of honor out of the Jersey Bulletin, October 1952, and in the back, Dad has marked the cows which were part of his herd or herds that he knew in that area. And I don't know which, you were talking pounds fat, you were talking 1,000 pounds. Here's milk, pounds of milk,
Okay.
and it says 1249.
Yeah.
And is that what you're referring to,
Right,
over
yeah.
1,000?
Testing. Maybe
Testing.
this is.
Butter
I could be
fat
wrong.
was
Butter
all
fat.
that
Okay.
was the thing
The-
that Dad always looked at.
Okay, it says monthly production of milk and that, and totals to days in milk, pounds of milk, and pounds of fat are the
Yeah,
columns.
pounds of fat.
Okay.
So,
They seem to be in order.
you know,
Another order
this is
though.
730 pounds, right?
Yeah, that's what it says.
Out of how many pounds of milk?
Oh, is it a ratio?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
out of
a direct
11.
reduction. What they did, see, what he was doing in testing was milking the cow, recording the volume, putting it in a centrifuge, separating it to the thin milk and the butter fat, measuring the butter fat. The ratio between the butter fat and the milk was one aspect of it, and the volume was another aspect of it.
Okay.
And the butter fat was where the solids are, where, you know, the value of the milk.
All right. Well, I see that. I was trying to see real quick what this list showed from top to bottom. It is under pounds of fat, and I don't know if it's that. It must be the ratio that you're referring to. The top cow is 72.57 down the list, and the first one mentioned is Sweet Jerseys, 6 is Oregon, and then the next one is that would be the sixth cow. 7th cow is Norman Nash, Port Orford, Oregon, and then that was all under yearlings. Under 2-year-olds, it looks like in the top 10 or so, there are 3 of Norman's cows mentioned. And of course, Dad marked these to show what cows he was trying to bring to Juneau, what family.
I can't remember.
History, and he's, you know,
Yeah, I got the
it
book.
would be hard to say non.
Yeah. Well, under the Juneau Dairies here, it says Ted Smith, President, Dwight Nash, Vice President, Maynard Pearson, Secretary Treasurer. So we know there's at least the 3.
The 3 are the ones, they were the active members. They were the only active ones for collecting milk, I think, of any
Well,
quantity.
by the time we got into it.
Yeah, as I recall.
Okay. Now Norman helped Dad bring the cows to Juneau. Nearly 97 cows. A few that were not Jerseys, a few Guernseys. What's your recollection? Did we completely get rid of
No.
the herd that was there, or
No.
did we keep some of the
No.
cows?
Remember Cleo? Oh, she was the most cantankerous cow. You try to bring the cows down that lane, and Dad had a couple of bad ones, but that's old black and white thing that Dad
that
was
the one
told
that-
to keep by
That's the one that kicked when you melted it?
Kicked?
Okay.
angry.
The black
But
and white.
you would start down the road, and you'd go, just turn your head and to start to bring in one of the young ones or bring it back on the road, and you'd have all the cows heading off to the side, just this way. Then you'd run out there and try to bring them back in line, get them back on the lane, and they'd be going along, and she'd take off the other way again. Just think. No, there was 2 that I know of that were there even toward the end, but they were getting old.
Okay. So just a couple from the previous herd. How many did Meyer have? Did he not have?
Stuck in my, because she died and we had to pull it with the tractor
Yeah.
and bury it.
Right, I remember Mud.
I know, right, where she buried it. She ate some barbed wire in the grain. Yeah.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about what you remember of Meyer's Dairy. When we first got the dairy, how old were you? How old? You would have been 10?